guys, welcome back to Vinceville Custom. So today we're going to do a garage kit review of a 3D printed version of Power Girl. This was actually a Patreon item that I got. It is from B3DSERK Studios, which is B3DSERK Studios. I will link their Patreon in the description. It seems that what they're doing is every month they have all their patrons vote on a character, and they vote and they decide which character is going to be made that month, and what they do is they sculpt the full size of the character and they bust. Now, I'm not really into a lot of the characters they're making, but my friend Meta John, who printed this out for me, told me that they were having a poll and Power Girl was on a poll, and I said, well, let me know if you say they win the Power Girl or whatever. So he got me back and he says, yeah, Power Girl ones are going to be doing it the next month. So I decided to sign up on their Patreon. I'll be honest, I don't know how long I'm going to stay with their Patreon, because all I really wanted is the Power Girl, but I'm sticking with them for a few more months just to see if they do any other characters that I'm interested in, and I'll snag a 3D file of it. But if they keep on doing a lot of like the heroes and villains and stuff, I'm not really going to stay much. I'm just being honest, you know. The only reason why I signed up is I really wanted to get the Power Girl, and I wanted to support them for a little bit longer until, you know, we'll see as far as they go. But if they do any other characters I'm interested in, maybe I'll get a printout or two. Now, they did a full size of Power Girl, and they did a bust of Power Girl. I didn't print out the bust yet. I'm going to do that probably next year in 2023. For right now, I just wanted to see if my friend Meta John could do this. Now, he told me to go easy on him, but because he is Canadian, we're going to give him a rough time because, you know, people from Canada, we got to mess with them. No, I'm only kidding. He did a good job with it. I'm pretty happy. I'll give you guys a little bit of a background. I haven't picked up a 3D printer because I have no interest in one yet. My friend Meta John, he's been doing all the stuff for me. So if you see any of this like aqua blue, aqua green stuff in my videos, it's because he's the one that's printing it out for me. In the beginning, when he was printing stuff out for me and anyone else, like even maybe 4 or 5 years ago, the resin that people were using was really crappy resin to me. I felt that it was very fragile. It wasn't very like drill friendly. Like if you wanted to drill out a part, if you went and drilled into it, it would just shatter. And I just really didn't think 3D printers were there. But when he printed this out, or when he was working on other stuff, I did some research on like some of the resins, and I asked other people. There's a higher end resin, which I forget what this is called. If he reminds me, I'll link it in the description. It's just a different color, but they come in various colors. And this stuff is actually pretty strong. I'm actually happy with the way this resin is now. It's not like the old resin, like when I saw somebody at Jersey Fest printed one out. Like, you see this is hollow. In here, you can see these holes are here. I've been actually filling up with red A's whenever I have it, to kind of just, because I'm going to pour resin in there. I'll explain that in a bit. Some of the older stuff that, like, even though this is probably like maybe like that thick or so, the old resin, if you went like that, like literally you would just crack it and put your finger right through it. But this stuff is pretty damn strong now. I'm actually very impressed with this resin. It's just that the 3D printer that he has is probably now, what, maybe 2-3 years old or 2 years old. I think it was like a $3,500 printer or something. They become obsolete over time, but I think 3D printers are getting better and better all the time. So personally, if I was to get one, I'd probably wait another 3 years or so, because it's like I've always told people in my videos, 3D printers right now are like when inkjet printers first came out. When they first came out, they were like $20,000. Then all of a sudden, you know, you could buy one for $5 grand. And then before you know it, they were like $1,000. And then as laser printers started coming out, inkjets you could get in your house for 60 bucks. And then laser jet printers were like 20 grand, 10 grand, 1,000. And then they pretty much everything's a laser print pretty much now almost. So that's what's going to happen with these 3D printers. Before you know it, you're going to really have a high-end 3D printer, and it'll be cheaper, and pretty much anyone could print out stuff that you see coming from Onage in a few more years. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with it, but there is some cleaning and there's some stuff I have to do with it, but we'll kind of go over that in a second. So they did a good job with the sculpt. I really like the anatomy and everything. They based it off an artwork, as you saw in the beginning of the video. I'm going to customize it, of course. As you can see, they based it off the artwork where the boob window is a triangle, which, you know, Power Girl usually has the circle. I'm not really happy with this brooch here and the rope, but they based it off the artwork, so they were following that artist rendition of Power Girl, which I completely understand. And, you know, the sign up on their Patreon was only like $7 for the month, so I'm not going to complain and knock it and saying like they didn't do what I wanted. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I love the body. I love the thickness of the legs and the waist and everything. She got a nice booty. So I'm happy with it, but I'm going to customize it. Now, the one thing I learned about this resin, though, as I was working on another item, which you'll see in the video down the line, that if you put, if you were to, like, Dremel this down, and you put Aves here, if you start sanding it down, the Aves will sand faster than this resin. That's how strong this resin is becoming, which is really cool. Because it's actually, I think this resin isn't really as much as resin, as it's kind of more of a plastic. Well, all resin is plastic, but this feels more of like harder plastic than actually resin, which is okay, which is fine. But, you know, for customizing it, I'm going to have to do a little bit of a learning curve to learn what I can and can't do and how to go about it. So this is going to be a good project for that. So what I want to do is I want to take down the belt, because I'm not really a fan of this belt, because you can see the belt's kind of like wide here, and then it gets smaller over here, and then wide again. So the belt's kind of a little bit messy to me, and I don't really like the way this piece sticks out, as you can see. So I'm gonna redo the belt. And this was like gold trim from the artist, you know, like this was like gold trim around here, and I really don't like that, so I'm going to take that down anyway. I'm going to take this down and put up a rope around here. Her booty doesn't really have much of a booty, plus here, like we can make fun of my friend in Canada. This 3D print piece got screwed up over here, it's all kind of like coming off, so we could say he ruined the whole sculpt just for fun. Just so I could say, hey, you messed up now. But I told him, I said, I don't really care if there's any kind of mess ups and the stuff. I'm going to be customizing this anyway. So I said, don't worry and don't, like, get nervous if anything gets messed up. I'm going to be doing my own thing with it. So we're going to be doing a lot of cleaning and stuff and everything. But it's hard to see here, but there was one spot, I forgot where I saw it. Like, there's, like, little tiny, like, maybe, like, almost, like, here. It's hard to see in the camera, but there's, like, as you can see, it's, like, printing, and then there's, like, a little bit of a ring here. That it's an old printer. It's not, like, super detailed, so you're going to see this stuff. But with some filler primer and some light sanding, all that stuff will go away. So, like I said, I'm not worried about all that. So the other thing is, I'm working on a project, and I have to do some molding and casting. And whenever I mold and cast an item, sometimes I get a little bit extra resin in the cup while the item is in the pressure pot. So what I'm going to be doing is, since this is all hollow, of course, you know, it would be a hell of a lot of, you know, resin for him to print it solid. I told him, I said, it's okay, you know, print it. What I'll do is, I'm going to Dremel a hole in here. I'll Dremel like a hole in here. You can see I've been putting red Aves in certain areas. So what I'll do is I'll turn this upside down, and whenever I have that little extra resin, when I start molding and casting, I'm going to fill this in, because I want her to be a nice solid item. So this way, when I add the boots, when I put the boots on, you know, sorry, it's this one here. So yeah, so when I put the boots on, I want to put a nice rod in here. Now she did come with a base, and the base that they sculpted, I think, was a little bit crazy. It was a big round base. It had some stars, and it was like bursting. And for Metajohn to print all that out, he might have actually had to cut the base. And I don't really like super crazy elaborate bases like that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make a simple little base, and I'm going to put some clouds. I don't care that we've already had the clouds from Sideshow. I'm going to do something simple for her, because I just want to focus on the item. And that's pretty much what I'll do for this one. The cape, they cut it in like 3 pieces. Basically one that goes on her back and then over here. So you can see the cape goes like that. Normally I don't really like sculpted bases, capes. But with this one, I figured, what the hell, I kind of like it. It's not that bad. Oh, it goes this way. So it goes like that. Like so because it's kind of like a fairly large base, and once I make her solid, I'm going to want clouds and something to support her too. So that's the good thing about that. Now the head sculpt, they did a good job. I'm not complaining about the head sculpt, and as you can see, we were a little bit worried about the fragileness of the hair. Like, one little piece broke off, but that's not the end of the world. I might have to kind of clean it up a bit. Kind of not liking some of the area around here. So, I don't know. I might customize a little bit of the hair. It's also kind of a little bit tricky on how she goes on here, because the hair is kind of like hitting in the back. But all in all, they did a good job. I'm really happy with this sculpt. I love the anatomy. I love the nice thin waist. The chest is nice and big. The booty is there. So all in all, they did a great job. The hair sculpt looks good. The cape looks good. So for an item that was sculpted in a month, because I don't know if it's like one guy sculpting, I'm not sure. I really didn't even pay attention to the Patreon much, I'll admit it. I just went in there, got the Power Girl, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, they did a good job. Like the legs got some nice thick muscles on them. The boots look pretty good. I like what they did with the boots down here. Now, Sideshow and them, they gave her heels. But Sideshow, I mean, she doesn't have heels. She has like a little bit of a heel. So I think I might do is I might sand these down and give her more closer to like a flat foot type of a thing. That's just kind of like usually what Power Girl has. You can see what they did with the... So you can see these line marks like here, stuff. But that's okay. It's like, I'm going to customize it. I'm going to do my own thing and have some fun. It keys in pretty well. But I'll be making all this stuff permanently attached, you know, kind of painted in one nice solid piece. Honestly, I wish they would have actually not cut it here. I wish they would have cut it here and had that piece on instead of here. But maybe they did that for, I don't know, fitting in a printer. But all in all, it looks great. Like I said, I'm happy with it. It's great for a nice 3D print. If you guys are interested, hit up their Patreon. You can print this stuff out in smaller scale, larger scale, which is really cool about 3D printing. I wanted it 1/4 to go with all the other stuff. And that's pretty much it. So, you'll probably see this done maybe way later in the year or even in 2023. It's a side project, but I just kind of wanted to do a little bit of a review. Show you guys how everything's looking. I'm pretty happy with it. Actually, the more I look at this too, the more it's almost like a running pose. Like, it almost looks like she's running in a sense. And I'm actually was thinking about it, maybe down the line, if I really, really like this pose, after I kind of put it all together, maybe what I could do is print out another one and maybe make a Kid Flash running. Even though she's a little bit thicker than Kid Flash, it almost could make a good Kid Flash running. So, yeah, we'll be doing a lot of custom work. I'll make sure I'll take pictures as I progress on this on the side. This is going to be one of those items where once she's all filled in with resin and I do garage work on commissions and then I'm in the garage all day long, I'll add this into my mix and then hopefully I can get her all kind of ready and maybe I could paint her on a live stream or something or go from there. So there you go. I'll link the Patreon in the description. I'll find out from my friend Metajon this resin and just show you guys this is kind of like the future. I know a lot of people are complaining I don't have a 3D printer and they're forcing me, but this is kind of where things I guess are going now. Pretty soon you won't really need to, I mean, if you're not really into building and painting, of course, you always use Sideshow, DC Direct, Tweeterhead, stuff like that. But if you're into building and painting your own kits and you want to attempt it, this is kind of where the future is, where you'll just get a file, 3D print it in the scale you want, and just start painting away and building. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.